Hi, good human. I'm Dr. Marie Murphy. I'm a non-judgmental infidelity coach. This means that if you are having an affair or cheating on your partner, or you're the other person, or you're involved in anything that you think counts as infidelity, I can help you deal with your feelings, clarify what you want, and make decisions about what you're going to do without shame, blame, or judgments. Right. And this is so important because so much of the so-called help out there for people who are cheating is nothing more than total horseshit. Right. So I offer a complete alternative to that. Welcome to my world if this is the first time you're meeting me. In the last couple of videos, I've been talking about the choice to leave your marriage for your affair partner or to not leave your marriage for your affair partner. And although there are potentially thousands of things that we could say on that topic, I promise that not all future videos will be devoted to the choice between staying in your marriage versus leaving for your affair partner. However, today we are going to stay related to that topic. We're going to consider a question that many of my clients who are considering leaving their marriages, at least in part for the sake of being able to pursue a relationship with their affair partner, ask. And that question is this: if I leave my marriage, will I regret it? And there are a number of reasons why people ask this question. And one of them, one common reason, is this. A lot of folks tell me that they have a friend or multiple friends who left their marriage for the sake of pursuing a relationship with someone else and then came to the conclusion that they had made the wrong decision. They thought that leaving their marriage was going to be a great idea, but later they decided that it actually wasn't a great idea and they had just been experiencing a bad case of the grass seeming greener on the other side of the fence. Here's the thing I want to be very clear about. Some people do leave their marriages and then regret it. This is a thing that happens, but that doesn't mean that it has to happen. And it certainly doesn't have to happen for you. Just because some people regret leaving their marriages does not mean that you are certainly going to regret leaving yours. And in order to understand why this is true, it's important for us to understand why people often regret leaving their marriages when they do regret leaving their marriages, and what you can do to significantly reduce the chance that you will regret leaving your marriage if you, in fact, decide to do that. So here's what often happens. Someone will be married and have been pretty disengaged from their marriage for a long time. Maybe they've seriously considered leaving the marriage, but haven't actually gotten around to doing anything about that. Maybe they care a lot about their spouse, but they're just not at all enthusiastic about them as a romantic partner. Maybe they've been kind of checked out of the relationship. Whatever it is. The upshot is the person who is married isn't all that excited about their relationship with their spouse, and they aren't and haven't been doing much of anything to address that. And then they meet someone new and amazing, and they form a relationship with that person. They begin what we tend to call an affair. And compared to their completely disconnected relationship with their spouse, the affair relationship seems amazing, beyond amazing. And this person who's having the affair thinks to themselves, wow, this is so much better than my marriage. Obviously, what I want to do is get out of my marriage so that I can have access to this awesome new relationship 100% of the time and have an awesome relationship 100% of the time. And this line of thinking can seem really legitimate and really compelling for lots of reasons. And some people act from this line of thinking pretty darn efficiently. They just go, okay, marriage bad, affair good, end marriage, go all in on relationship with the person who used to be my affair partner and is now just my partner. And maybe this works out kind of great for a while, or better than great for a while. But then, shockingly, the new relationship turns out to be less than amazing all the time. The new partner turns out to be an actual human, not a deity who has very human qualities, some of which are not so delightful, right? And the person who left their marriage goes, oh my God, this new relationship isn't as perfect as I thought it was. Maybe my marriage was actually pretty good. Like I kind of miss the like comfort, stability, and familiarity of that. And this new relationship isn't so great. Maybe I made a big mistake. And then this person feels regret. And then they don't do much to improve their relationship situation. Maybe they stick it out with their new partner, but they don't do much to actively create the kind of relationship that they want to have. Maybe they leave their new partner because it didn't turn out to be perfect. Either way, they probably wallow in the idea that they shouldn't have left their marriage. They like nurse that, like, you know, it's their wubby, right? Like, oh, I shouldn't have left my marriage. I shouldn't have left my marriage. And then they go around telling all of their friends, such as you, that the grass is always greener. And if you leave your marriage, you're making a big mistake. This kind of thing happens all the time. People do what I've just described all the time. And I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much, one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the big reasons why there's so much fear of regretting the decision to leave a marriage. But here's the thing, people, the kind of scenario I just described does not have to happen. It is possible to make a decision about your marriage and whether to stay in it or not, and more specifically to leave it, from a managed mind. And here's an overview of what that can look like. Here's an overview of what you can do if you are considering leaving your marriage for your affair partner. First of all, take the decision to leave your marriage seriously. Make the decision systematically and deliberately. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to make the decision paralyzingly difficult or impossible to make. It means you carefully consider the reasons why you might want to leave your marriage, and you also consider the reasons why you might not want to leave your marriage. And then you can make a decision based on this set of reasons that you like better. Now, this evaluation process, examining your marriage, whether you'd want to stay in it or leave it, looks a little bit different for everyone. But one of the key points that I want to stress today is that you have an evaluation process of some sort. You don't just say, like, my marriage isn't good and my affair is great, so I'm just going to get divorced and then I'm going to be happy all the time, right? That doesn't work. Point number 2, to reemphasize what I've already said, you can make the process of evaluating your marriage thorough and deliberate without making it ridiculously complicated. Now, what I've just said might sound like simple stuff, and in a sense it is, but evaluating your marriage systematically and deliberately is a step that a lot of people either skip entirely or don't do very well. And by doing this step better, by doing a better job of evaluating whether or not you want to stay in your marriage, you go a long way towards preventing regretting your decision in the future. The second really important thing that you can do to prevent regretting your decision to leave your marriage is to recognize or understand that major life decisions and major life changes often come with mixed emotions. Now, sometimes these mixed emotions aren't that big of a deal. Sometimes we move to another city or another country, and we're a little bit sad to leave behind our old home. But for the most part, we're really delighted to be where we have chosen to move to, right? Sometimes we leave a job that we really, really liked in order to pursue a new professional opportunity. And maybe we miss our old colleagues dearly, but on the whole, we're really glad that we made the decision to take on the new challenge. But at other times when we're making a big life change, the mixed emotions that come with it are way more intense, way more pronounced. And the conflict between the emotions seems like a far bigger deal. Sometimes a major life change comes with extreme highs and lows, not moderate highs and lows, not really high highs and a few just moderately annoying lows. Sometimes it really just seems like a ping pong game going on within our experience of making the choice, right? So what I want to normalize is that this is a thing that happens. Having really intensely mixed feelings about a major life decision is a thing that happens. It's normal, it's common, it's okay, and we don't talk nearly enough about this. And so what happens, because we don't talk about this, is that when we're considering a major life change and we're trying to make a major life decision and we feel intensely conflicting emotions, we often interpret that to mean that something is wrong. If we feel any intense discomfort or any intense negative emotion associated with making the choice or making the change, we tend to think that we shouldn't do the thing. So for instance, if we experience any doubt or fear or sadness at the thought of leaving our marriage, we tend to interpret that as a sign that we shouldn't leave our marriage. That's not necessarily what we want to do with those feelings. So what we need to be able to do is intellectually recognize that the choice to leave our marriage may not feel super awesome all of the time, even if we have come to a clear decision to leave the marriage for reasons that we are sure we like. Or put differently, we need to be clear on the fact that even if we are confident that leaving our marriage is the right decision for us, that choice may still feel really awful at times. There's this idea floating around out there that if a decision is the quote unquote right decision, we're not going to feel any doubt or sadness or uncertainty or anything like that. And what I want you to know is that most folks I've worked with who have chosen to leave their marriages have had really mixed feelings about that decision. And that holds true for even the folks who are like, get me the fuck out of this relationship. Like, I do not want to be married to this person anymore. Even the people who have been the surest that they do not want to be in their marriage anymore have still experienced a lot of mixed emotions, including pain and sadness and confusion and doubt and uncertainty and all of that. Okay. In addition to intellectually recognizing that our decision may come with mixed emotions, we also need to be able to actually tolerate the experience of feeling those mixed emotions, especially the intensely uncomfortable ones. This is such an important skill to cultivate. Learning how to actually tolerate our feelings is such an important thing that humans learn how to do. And it's something that practically none of us have ever learned how to do. Terrible. But the good news is I can teach you how to do this. I can teach you how to relate to even your most unpleasant, uncomfortable emotions. And we can do this together in my online course. You're not the only one, or we can do this together if you work with me as one of my private clients. And being able to relate to your uncomfortable emotions in a really conscious and tolerant way is important, because even if you leave your marriage and you feel great about that decision, there is a chance that you might feel some regrets. It could happen. But that doesn't have to be a problem if you know what your emotions are, if you know that regret is an emotion, and if you're willing to tolerate the emotion of regret. If you know that your feelings aren't necessarily indicators of anything that's gone wrong, you don't have to make feeling a little bit of regret into a big deal. And if we work together, I'll tell you a whole lot more about all of that. Finally, we need to be committed to making the best of our decisions. We need to be intentional about creating the kinds of experiences we want to have within the decisions that we've made. And we need to be intentional about appreciating the experience of living with the choice we've made. Like I said earlier, major life changes tend to come with mixed emotions. So if you expect that your choice, whatever choice that you make about your marriage, leaving or not leaving, will automatically make you feel good all the time, you will probably be extremely disappointed. But on the other hand, if you are dedicated to creating the experience of any relationship that you're in and life as a whole that you want to have, instead of expecting a relationship to make you happy or your life to make you happy without any effort on your part, you're a whole lot less likely to experience regret. So it really is possible to make a decision about whether or not to leave your marriage that you won't regret. And I can help you do this. Whether you enroll in my online course, you're not the only one, or you become a private client of mine, I guide you through everything that I just talked about. I help you make clear decisions for reasons that you really like. I teach you how to understand and relate to your emotions in a way that allows you to deal with uncomfortable emotions without letting those emotions drive your decisions. And I teach you how to be really intentional about creating the kinds of relationships that you want to have. And that's how you make powerful choices about your love life instead of making decisions that are guided by a fear of feeling regret. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. That's it for today. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.